I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigar.
Don't be an asshole today.
Hello.
Hello.
Error, that was.
Error 404. So, we got Katie Hall coming on in a minute. And, we're really good. We're good friends. And as a matter of fact, we just went to the Dawn French show together.
I saw the pictures you sent. Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. But I wanted her to come on and talk a little bit about the London Raiders softball league team. So she's got all the goods on that, because we never have had anybody talk about sports yet.
No, we have not.
Right?
I mean, thought about that. Yes.
Been doing this a long time. So yeah, so I really wanted her to come on and talk about it, because she's got some really interesting stuff. We were talking about it in the car. So I'm going to let her in now, Miss Katie Hall. And
look at that.
We'll talk a little bit about that. There she is. I wore a sports shirt. She got the Raiders shirt.
Pelican shirt.
Perfect. You need to sponsor a team of some sort, JD.
I should.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want
to. I was just telling JD that in all the time we've been doing this, we have not had any discussions on sport. None.
I just can't believe that. It's such a queer fundamental.
Right? I mean, how many times, I'm sure you've seen, like on Twitter and whatnot, like I'm always putting out a call for football players, softball players, baseball, anybody that has to do with sports. Nobody.
Oh, maybe it's that we don't like to talk about it as much.
On the down low.
Yeah, keep it on the DL.
Crazy, because you should be a total chick magnet if you play sport of any kind.
Well, I'm not going to discuss my track record with previous relationships and playing sport, but
it's still the place where the girls go.
It is. Although the older I get, the more already in a relationship they are. So
I was totally thinking that you were going to say, the older I get, the more it is about the game and not the girls.
I don't care, right?
No.
That's fantastic. Oh, wow. So I was telling JD a little bit about the fact that let's start from the beginning. The league, how long it's been going on, and then we'll go into how long you've been playing.
Yeah, so London Raiders started off as a club called Rainbow Raiders, I think. And I think there might have even been another iteration before that. And last year we celebrated our 30th anniversary as a club. So
30.
That gives you that gives you a sense of like the length of the club. I think back in the early days, it was just a group of LGBTQ people like playing in, I think, East London, maybe Haggerston Park or somewhere like that, just kind of getting together. And then they started playing more as a team, and then it became Rainbow Raiders and then became London Raiders.
And now, how many teams are within the league?
So, well, there's separate things. So within Raiders, the club, we have 6 teams, and then we play primarily across a London league, which has probably about 60 to 70 teams in it. So yeah, so we make up a good percentage of the league itself, but yeah, it's a very well, kind of highly functioning, well-established league now. Like when I first started, I think there might have only been 4 divisions, and it's grown to 6. from very, very competitive down to brand new. And then our 6 teams kind of spread across those divisions.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you don't play a lot against the same teams. You're playing a different team all the time.
Yeah. So our own teams don't often play against each other, but we do sometimes. So year on year, we'll have 1 or 2 teams maybe in the same division. And so like this year we had 3 teams all in the rec division. And so we played each other a lot and kind of, had these big Raiders derbies where everyone comes down and, we have some music going and, it's all good fun. And this year at one of them, one of our players is a Zumba teacher, and he did like this big flash mob Zumba kind of dance for us and, put it all on Instagram. So yeah, they're nice events when we have a Raiders derby match for sure.
So is that all women or is it mixed?
No, it's co-ed. So and our club is, I'd say it's got an even split of like male female genders, but we've also got a growing number of non-binary players joining the sport as well, which has been fantastic.
It's really amazing. And you've been playing in this league for how long?
So this was my 17th season, which just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So in 2006, I moved back to London, having been away for 8 years. And when I moved back, I was like, right, I don't really have any gay friends. I had like some school friends and family, but no queer friends. And I was like, how do I find a community? And I'd always, ever since I was little, I'd watch A League of Their Own, and I was like, I'd love to give that a go. So yeah. I just Googled like LGBT sports teams. And at first I looked at basketball because I played that at college. And then softball came up and I got in touch, and they were the people that got back to me. And
oh wow,
I literally haven't looked back. I went along to a training session, was made to feel very welcome, made to feel like there was a place for me as a complete beginner and novice. Yeah, and like that was 17 years ago, I think. So
it's amazing. It's
yeah.
The funny thing is, for me, it was such a part of my youth,
Mm-hmm.
And not tied in with school. And I think that's what I loved about it. It was like the summer league, the Parks and Recreation League.
Yes.
Where
yeah, that makes
even though
sense.
you did go to school with all these, same faces, in the summer, it was, you were playing softball. Like,
yeah, it wasn't a school activity.
It wasn't a school activity. My older cousins were the coaches, and some of the coaches worked at my mother's restaurant, so it was like everybody was connected in some weird way, and you knew everybody. And the park was across the street from my cousin's house, so you could run in there and get snacks. You could drink from the garden hose out front. It was like it was really so fun. And I played for so long. It was like right up until I got my driver's license, and then your whole world opens up.
Right.
But
did your mother's restaurant sponsor the team?
No, it was totally city run. So it was all
okay.
the town of Niagara sponsored all the teams, and then you would just like, by the color of your shirt, played other neighborhood teams. Very Sandlot.
That's so cool, though. I mean, I think that's definitely something that lacks over here generally, is like more organized sport in general that's so accessible at that level. Like it's round the corner, and it's your neighborhood. Like that really, my entire life, that's never felt like a way I could participate in sport.
It seems like it's all driven towards soccer / football.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, it's partly through school. There might be some sports teams, but if you actually want to do anything, like I did athletics when I was younger, you have to kind of have a parent that's going to drive you to somewhere
over the place
to do it. It's not just on your doorstep. And I think we miss out from that, because team sports and that kind of camaraderie is such an important kind of
So
thing to
is.
be a
It
part
so
of.
is. I'm
Oh
still
yeah,
friends with those
yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
You know, still friends with a lot of those girls, you know, Facebook friends with them. And it's just, you know, it was, you know, just, you didn't think twice about it. You
Yeah,
know what I
it's just,
mean?
that's it, it's
Yeah.
just
You
fun,
got
and
up with your
everyone's,
stinky Parks and Rec shirt on, you got on your bike and you rode to the park, whether you had a practice or not, because when we didn't have a practice or anything or game, people were still out there playing anyways. You know, like all the
Right.
coaches, my cousins and everybody, they would stand at home plate, throw the ball up and whack them, and they would try and hit them out of the park, and we would be standing on the edge of the park with our heels
yeah,
to the curb to the road, you know,
trying to catch the balls.
yeah, all their pop flies all afternoon. Like,
Yeah, and I think we do have an element of that. So as well as like, so the league plays weekday evenings between May and August, but our club starts training in March. So Saturday kind of mornings and afternoons, we have a little bit of that. You know, we all come together at about 11 and do some warm-ups and do some skills training, and then it kind of tumbles into a pickup game. And you know, there is that really nice relaxed, just, you know, hitting a ball, it doesn't, the outcome doesn't matter, it's just
exactly.
kind of playing. And then so like on bank holiday weekends, we tend to do like pick one of the days and do just a few like games or round robins, and just kind of,
And people just know, like they just know to show up, or it's part of a WhatsApp group, or what? How does that?
So yeah, lots of communication channels. Yeah, mostly a WhatsApp group. We have WhatsApp groups for absolutely everything, about 5,000. And then like a, you know, Facebook, we have a kind of newsletter, email, like an e-newsletter for members. But yeah, just whatever way, word of mouth, I don't know, all of it. We just try and tell
Amazing.
people.
Just
Yeah.
Did you have that, Jay, growing up or no?
Growing up, I was not, I played tennis like a maniac. Like I was not a team sport player because I was the person, as you can, won't be surprised by this, Denise. I was picked last for the team. You know how Janice Ian sung about that in that
Yes.
70s?
Yeah.
I was that person.
Oh, no
So
wonder you
I would get
relate so much to
so
that
nervous.
melancholy folk music.
I would get so nervous with everyone else, like depending, you know, what I did, you know, affected other people, that I did not do well at team sports. So I played tennis. And so then when I was 21 years old and my first job was working in a bank, the bank had a softball team. So they talked me into being on the softball team. And they were saying, it was a women's team and a men's team. And they said, it's just for fun. Don't worry about it. It's no pressure. So I joined the Boca Babes softball team from Sunrise Savings and Loan, where I was a savings and loan officer. And 2 games in, and it was cutthroat. I was great because I had the hand-eye coordination, so I could hit the ball. I always hit the ball. And getting to first base, though, I was very surprised how far away first base is. Like, it's that far, start running it. But I was in really good shape back then. You know, I was younger and, you know, thinner. But as soon as it started to get cutthroat serious, like 2 games in, I would swing and miss. Like the pressure was just too much for me. And one girl actually got hit in the throat. And no one cared. They're like, get her off the field. They're shutting the lights off in 5 minutes. We got to get this last number, this last run. And I was like, what? And there I am. What happened to no pressure? What happened to this game just for fun?
So the competitiveness put you off a little bit, huh?
Yeah, because all these people are depending on you. So that part of that didn't do well for me. Like I just
Freaked you
couldn't.
out a little.
Yeah, I didn't do well the rest of the season. Then I was picked last for that team too. I was benched most of the
I was gonna
time.
ask if you spent a little time on the bench.
I was benched. I was benched.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
hilarious.
so funny.
it's, I
My
appreciate that pressure, I think.
ex-husband at the time, he was my husband at the time. he was on the men's team, right? Because all of these women had partners that they were on the men's team. So he was worse than I was at sports. He was not a sports
Really?
really, believe it or not, he was not never a sports guy. So he gets picked on the team. He wasn't going to be on the team. He didn't want to be. But then somebody dropped out, so there was a spot for him. So he gets that guy's shirt because the shirts were already made. He gets Jim, but his name is Thad. So
Right.
no one knew him on the team because these were all the women's partners, right? So it wasn't like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah. They don't work
Right.
together or
Right.
anything. Right.
oh, right. So he was worse. So they put him out in outfield, and then they would say, Jim, because the ball was coming out. He's clueless because he's not Jim, right? That I'd be so embarrassed. I was dying because everyone else's guys were like really into it, and they were like sports guys. There's my person. He's not even answering to his name because he wasn't Jim.
It's so funny. I remember we had one girl that wasn't great, so we would always stick her in right field. And there was this neighborhood dog that everybody kind of took care of. His name
Yeah.
was Tiger because he had stripes, and the dog would just be sitting like next to her, and she'd be playing with the dog, and he'd be like, Sharon, ball, like,
That would be me.
like no, yeah, no, like, oh, right, but oh my God, yeah, we really did have some serious fun. And Katie, I think the thing that struck me the most was we had our little pride party here back in June.
Yeah.
And Stuart came, and he's in the club as well. And we were sitting around talking, and you brought a mitt and ball and everything, like you were determined to get me out of my chair. And I wasn't having it. But had a couple drinks, wasn't having it. But the thing I remember the most is 2 different size balls.
Yeah.
What is that about?
It's one of those things. It kind of makes sense, but it is also annoying. So there's a 12-inch ball
Imagine
and an
this.
11-inch ball.
1
and
inch difference. 1 inch difference.
But it
Not
makes
as small as a baseball.
Makes a bigger than a baseball. It does make a difference. And the idea is to kind of level things out because it's a co-ed sport, and we're trying to avoid this idea that all the guys are big massive hitters and the women are there just to kind of prop up the numbers.
Right.
So they introduced this smaller ball which goes further when it's hit, so that the women and non-binary players can choose to hit that ball, are supposed to hit that ball instead, and can opt to hit the bigger ball. But the idea is it makes the hitting more equal, and tries to level the playing field a bit. And I think in the main it works. And like within our league, the rules are very like strict about numbers. You can't kind of just have like a token woman on your team.
Right.
It's like, it's regulated as a maximum of half your team can be one gender. And then so there's a real sense of equal or equity in the participation, which is great because there's other leagues. So that's the London League. There are other leagues that are kind of like the corporate leagues. There's an advertising league and a publishing league and a legal league, like which are really dominated by expat players, and their rules are much more flexible.
I bet.
Yeah.
You say expat, we say flexible. What I want to know is, does it mess with the pitcher? Like, does the pitcher go, oh?
Well, yeah. I mean, they have to learn how to be able to switch between, and manage that change because it's every other
player.
Bat, yeah. So it's a big deal.
Pressure being on the team, like that you have your performance affects everyone else, and if you screw up, you're bringing down everyone. That's not just you.
Well, so we have the joy of, because we have 6 teams that are spread across the different levels of experience and levels of play. Like you have the more competitive teams, which are in the higher division, and they're for people that take it very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And then you have
right.
Then you have the rec teams where the new players can come in and where it's a bit more relaxed, more fun, and it's not like you're just immediately trying to take away that pressure. It's not what it's about. So we have that space to accommodate both levels of play, which I think is really nice, and to allow kind of new players to come in and learn the game and see if there's some natural kind of talent and potential there, or a competitive spirit that can kind of progress through the club. So it's nice that within one club we can accommodate all levels. And I think softball has this kind of this ability to be accessible to people that aren't traditionally sporty, or have often been excluded from teams, because it's fairly easy to pick up. You can be, if you're good at just one element, like you're just good at hitting, or you're just good at throwing, or just good at catching, that's enough. And you don't have to be particularly, there's not that much running to do, although it feels like there is when you're running 60 foot, but it's it's not that much, and you can kind of jog it and stuff. So it's a really good sport for people, we think, that have been traditionally excluded from team sports. And because we have this setup where every year we have 5, 10, 15 completely new to softball players and potentially new to sport people, we've got this space where we can bring people in and just make it a safe, fun, comfortable space to play. And like this year we had enough people to create a whole new team that we put into the league. And it's just, I think for the feedback is they've just had a brilliant time getting to know each other, becoming part of the club and learning the game. And yeah, we're very lucky and to be in this position to do that, rather than new players come in and they're competing immediately with existing players for spots on teams.
Or tryouts. Oh my God.
Exactly. So there's a place for everyone.
That's sweet. Yeah. That's really cool. And they're all like, I love that you have so many events too.
Yes.
So outside of seeing, someone at the field or at practice or at the game or playing against them, you have these great parties, too. Like
absolutely.
me and Gemma to one of the softball parties, they're so fun. We don't even play.
Yeah, the social element is a huge part of it too. And it really becomes a community, and like family in all the positive and interesting ways that might be. But we have our key events like the start of season party, which is everyone coming together. I mean, bearing in mind our membership's around 120 people, so it's a good number, plus guests. And then we have the end of season party. We always do a big pride kind of event. So we had 80 people marching in our pride group in London Pride this year, which is just fantastic. And it's a great, obviously, thing to participate in, and we all wear our shirts, and it's just visible and fun. And then we do things like in the off season now, we have a bowling league, which has been running for at least since I started, so at least 17 years. So all the players get together and form teams of 6, and we have a little bowling league that runs once a month. And it's competitive. There's trophies and winners, and the trophies I kind of sorted out the trophies years and years ago, but they're bowling pins with like the Raiders logo painted on by my granddad. And it's just that connection and staying in touch and connected in the in-between times is really important, as as well as during the season. And often, because we've got 6 teams, we're all playing in different divisions, so we don't see each other. So it's how do we kind of have that interconnection across the whole club as well going.
I would have imagined that's a good way, like, to form some really good friendships with people, or maybe meet someone that might not have a partner. You never know.
I mean, it's been known. So I mean, I've got some incredibly long-standing friends from the club, like people that I've known now 17, 16, 15 years, who are
How
solid
fun was
people.
it with like I knew Stu
Yeah.
like, outside of that, and that
Well, that's it. It's people that we get involved in other aspects of our life. So yeah, I met Stuart at Raiders, who's like a very, he's been there forever.
so cute.
um
Yeah, I love
since
him.
like the year 2000, I think. And yeah, he directed my web series, and he met Denise at an event that I was hosting that he filmed for me. And it's just they're all the talent of the people, and within the community we can also
Resource.
connect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes beyond the sport. And like I've lived as housemates with other members, and definitely some incredible friendships. And I think it might be true that I hold the record for being engaged to the most club members, but we won't talk about that. But there's definitely
I didn't bring that up.
relationship.
I didn't.
lots of couples have formed, and are still happy together, which is fantastic. So it's a nice way to get together, because you're meeting for a reason. Like, you're meeting to play softball, and then all of the other things fall outside of that, so it takes the pressure off building a bit of a community.
Yeah, that's so it's just it seems so organic, so
Yeah.
natural, and that's I think one of the nice things about it. So yeah, it was funny when we were having that conversation, here at the party or whatever, and I said I wanna come to games, like I want to be the cheerleader. I'll bring the orange slices, whatever. Hey, mom.
Little snacks, little juice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah.
that's all part of it. And so, like, one of the things we also play in tournaments, and that mostly take place at the National Baseball Softball Complex, which is in Slough. And Raiders, yeah, Raiders has its own tournament that we run, which is a very much a fun beginners development, like recreational tournament. So we invite teams, and they're encouraged to play in fancy dress, and there's a prize for the best fancy dress. And it's in that kind of spirit. And we had, like, this year we held it for about the 10th year now, and we had a big party afterwards and played some drinking games and things, and it was super fun. So yeah, the tournament days are a great day to come down to, like, Farnham, and lots of stuff going on. It's a very family friendly sport as well, and there's kind of always music and fun. And I think the Raiders is really well known in the softball community, so people expect to see us there and kind of know that we have such a positive spirit and approach to playing, and a sense of fair play. And like, we're really obviously keen to uphold that reputation and show who we are, and it means we can be our authentic selves, and that's really welcomed. And
good people, when we were at Two Brewers with you guys, there was no one there that we met that we were like, oh,
No.
like no one, like everybody was so chatty, and they didn't even care like whether we played or not.
No, that's it. It's a really friendly, genuine bunch of people, and we work hard to champion that spirit, and it pervades definitely throughout. Yeah,
Very sweet, very sweet.
That's awesome. That's such a great thing to be part of.
And just to be clear, it's like American softball, right? There's no differences as far as the rules other than the balls.
So it's slow pitch, not fast pitch.
Right.
So it's underarm. I think the ball thing though is everywhere now, as in co-ed. I think that's an international softball rule change.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we have played. So that's one of the other big aspects of it, is international tournaments and playing in like big competitions like the gay games and the out games, and like big LGBTQ sports events, but also big softball sports events. So like Stuart and his husband met playing in the Sydney 2002 gay games.
Oh,
You know,
really?
that was how they met.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
We did talk about
So
that.
Ruben was there with, you know, with his American team, and that was how they met. And so, yeah, I think we must play all the same rules because we play in all those tournaments without any issues.
Have you ever on ESPN watched the college softball women's World Series?
Yes.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah,
Your
to
whole
see how you can how people can play the game, and like the athleticism and skill at that elite level is incredible. And you know, to see the big catches and the you know, the big hits and the big throws in,
and it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. And
that in the little kids World Series.
Yeah, the little watch that too, the Little League World Series.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great fun. And it's good to see it getting more coverage as sports. And I think it's back in the Olympics for 2028, which is really good news.
That's really good. Yeah.
Because softball was the fastest growing recreational sport in the UK, like back when it was an Olympic sport previously. And I hope that will continue, because I used to sit on the board of the national governing body for baseball and softball, so I got involved in some of those kind of more political aspects of it. But yeah,
thing that we have over here, oh my god, it's totally, I'm blank. I just blanked. We have the Olympics, but then we have
the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's never been in that, or
no, I don't think. I don't know. I mean, it could be, I guess, it's big in Canada and Australia and South Africa as well.
Yeah.
So it could potentially be in the Commonwealth, but it hasn't been today. But the GB teams are really getting stronger, so I hope that will also push the sports forward as well.
Yeah. That it's back in the Olympics. It's so true.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, I live for it. I mean, I live for the Olympics and any kind of, I mean, Buffalo's playing Tampa Bay tonight at 1 a.m. I'll be
okay.
Well, 8 o'clock your time. It's a Thursday night game over there. But, so I live for that kind of stuff, like that kind of excitement, because it is really, rare. I remember before I moved over here, the first time I was coming over to see Gemma, to see Hazel's house, to see where I was going to be living, all that kind of stuff. The first time they had tickets for a women's rugby match somewhere far and a whole bunch of us piled into this van, and it was like literally like a 45-minute drive to wherever this was, and it was the first time I ever watched rugby. But it was so like the spectator part of it was so informal. People were just walking around with beers and stuff, and it was USA versus Australia, I think, because there were people with little kangaroo balloons. But I'll never forget at the immigration window, like I was so panicked. Like this was my first international flight, and I'm doing it on my own to come here. And I get to the window and the guy says, and what is the meaning of your trip? And I'm like, I'm going to watch the rugby. Like it was like
the rugby. Did you put a "the" in front of
I did put a "the." But they do that over here, don't they? They do that over here.
Sometimes
the rugby.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But I was so flippin' excited that he just was like, okay. Pass on through. So it's really different. Like I now appreciate, football so much more. Especially the Lionesses, like watching them play is just incredible.
Yeah, there's something really nice about the profile raising of women in sport in general, and that it's getting more airtime and more fans, and kind of building up its profile. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. But and also sports that kind of do bring in, like, I think having co-ed sport is great, because it's not very often we get to play sport together anymore, you know, so
everything's so
that feels really
separated.
nice. And also I think it means we're kind of at the forefront of saying, like, how do we start to have conversations around trans participation in sport, for example, and non-binary participation in sport. And where softball has been like a leader of everyone can play and we can all play together, and there are ways we can make it happen, we can perhaps be at the front of some of those conversations that include rather than exclude. And you know, I think it's the you know, it's, we're having a moment where sport isn't just about men, and that's fantastic.
And it's, you know, it's so funny that we're talking about this, and especially tonight, because just earlier this evening we watched the Wrexham on, you know, Disney,
the Ryan Reynolds.
And the first one was really sad because it was all about their the miners, that you know, that explosion back in the 30s that killed like 266 miners, whatever. And that was really sad. But the next one was about the women's team, and how, you know, so we've watched a season and a half, you know, we're well into the second season, and now they've really started spotlighting the Wrexham women's team, you know, and how well they're doing. And this last one, you know, shows you that they finally, you know, jumped through all the hoops, had a perfect season, didn't lose a game, went on to their, you know, the match that they had to play to move into the match that will put them into their version of the Premier League. And now they will start getting paid. You know, like, these women have regular jobs. One is a kitchen porter, a kitchen dishwasher. One is a warden at a prison, you know, not a warden, but a guard at a prison. They work these full-time day jobs, and they still play soccer, football, because they love it, you know. And here they've, you know, risen through the ranks after all this time, where the whole spotlight has been on the men's team. Because of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, right? Making this docuseries all about the men. And you know, now they're starting to show that the women have the higher scorers, right? Like, it's unbelievable. Like, Rosie Hughes outscored Paul Mullins. So it's amazing.
But
it's
that
really,
recognition is
so important. It's so important to show, you know, and I love all these behind the scenes things now that they're making. We just watched the Matildas one, which was so heartbreaking because the whole thing was leading up to the World Cup, because they were hosting it in Australia, and they did not first or second. But still, like, it was really, really, really good. And all the coverage, you know, with the Lionesses here, you know, the girls are just, you know, they're just out there, you know, their faces are everywhere.
And there's no, like, it's taken seriously now. And like, you know, Mary Earps had to fight to get her goalkeeper shirt in the shop, but it's sold out, you know. So
the goalie, you know, they have all the other players, you know, the strikers, and you know, all their jerseys are for sale in the shops, but never a goalie shirt. And she really fought for that, and it did. It sold right out.
Is there a reason for that? Why is that?
They didn't think it would sell.
They didn't think anybody would want the goalie shirt.
Wow.
But she's like the star player, I think. So
she's the star. She is.
Right. So that's an important spot.
Important job.
Hugely.
Talk about the pressure.
She does it so well. Yeah, I mean, that's where pressure is.
That's the pressure.
A bit like the pitcher.
Exactly. I always feel like that in baseball and softball. Like, the pitcher is the one that's constantly in motion.
I have so much respect.
Right.
That's so much respect for anyone who wants to
unsung
pitch.
Hero, man, the catcher. When I was little, I used to idolize Johnny Bench, and he was a catcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Catfish Hunter, catcher for the Yankees. I always loved it. Never wanted to play it, I was respected. I was respected the position.
You know, on a side note, when I sang at the the Indianapolis Colts halftime show,
Yeah,
I was surprised to find out that the cheerleaders of professional football, the NFL cheerleaders, also have regular day jobs. That's
yeah.
not like their job. A
Wow.
lot of them are hairdressers, makeup artists,
You didn't know that?
models. That field. I didn't know that. I was surprised
I
because I
learned that by being a fan of Paula Abdul.
thought I thought that was a job in itself to be the cheerleader, but
He
I
was
guess
a, yeah,
not here, so but yeah, I was surprised they were talking about getting off from work or something, and I'm like, oh, like you have regular jobs, and just that surprised me. But yeah,
yeah.
really nice.
It is. It's crazy here. Like I especially in the States, like that was a wave, wasn't it? Like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Oh, right. That's why I
Man,
thought that.
do you remember
Maybe
when Robin Williams came out with them one time dressed like a cheerleader? That was like one of the funniest things he ever did. Like it was just so perfect. But yeah, and and I do think about that. That Paula Abdul was the Lakers girls
yeah.
choreographer, and she was
Hmm.
a Laker girl, and then I think Janet Jackson, spotted her and had
Yeah,
the
yeah, she did.
choreography
Yeah,
for.
Oh, is that how that happened?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
But
You gotta know your '80s idols.
and you know what? They were really nice people too. Like I was so intimidated to meet them because that was where I was like my place for the day was in their locker room because you have to put your stuff down and wait till it's time to perform. And I was so intimidated till I started talking to them and they were just so nice. They just
Yeah.
were not, you know,
I always
uh,
feel like a little bit bad. Like I feel like the players just pass them around like a bowl of nuts. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But God bless them. I mean, they really do kind of like the glue that holds two ends of the game together.
Right.
Most people go, let's miss the traffic and get out of here. There's those people who go, wait,
Right.
let's stay for the cheerleaders. So
Right.
yeah, they have an important job too. We can't forget that. Do you guys have cheerleaders, Katie?
well,
Shall I look into starting this for you?
over the years we've definitely talked about it. We've got cheers, so like Stuart, who we've talked about earlier, is the writer of a lot of our specific cheers, and it's like always funny sharing them with new players who are like, what does that mean? Our favorite one is holy cow, that's a foul, move it over.
Oh,
So we have our cheers, and we could always do with more cheerleaders. I think
good.
it's lacking generally, so yeah, definitely the more the merrier.
Yeah, I mean,
And
look,
there are
like a
songs to
movie, right?
learn.
Look at Bring It On. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
like they,
exactly. I
they can
think,
make movies about this kind of.
yeah, yeah, so just some blue and yellow pom-poms, and yeah,
Yeah, I
you'll be
think we could
away.
use that. Ooh, might be a whole new summer.
Hmm.
whole thing to start. Oh man, I just think what you guys are doing is absolutely incredible. It's it's so much bigger and has lasted so long that you have to know in your hearts that it's right. You know what I mean? Like what
Yeah,
you're doing is right, it's working.
yes.
People love it. People are you just said at the Don French show that your signups are through the roof again, right?
Yeah, that's it. We know we've got a long wait list of people who are want to start next year, who are kind of in the wings, waiting to come in, and looking at how, like, because I've been playing with the new players this year, and just seeing how they've come into their own and developed as players, but also just as members of the club, and found like their own little community and been part of the wider community.
Appreciate it.
It's
Yeah.
incredible, but also they're some of them are 20 years younger than me. They're the future of the club. They're
Right,
if
right.
they get into it the way my kind of generation has, then they'll
Yeah,
be the people who are sitting on the committee in 10 years time, and leading the new team, and
Yeah.
doing all of these things, and that's just brilliant to see as well, that there's a future. And yeah, people want to play, but also they want that thing that being on a team like this gives them, which
Yeah,
it's hard to find somewhere else.
Oh
exactly.
yeah.
And
It's
you guys,
amazing
it's
growing.
it seems like you don't have a huge fall off rate. Like people that come want to play, they want to be there.
Yeah,
If they do miss it, it's for a legitimate reason.
yeah,
Uh,
that I think that's
yeah.
that's fair. There's certainly a consistent number of people that come back year on year. People do leave. We have, like, for example, we have a lot of expat members, and often they, which is that's also a brilliant thing about the club, is it brings together people from all over the world. But not everyone's around forever, so some people will go back home or
They
move
away.
on.
Yeah.
And I think as one of the big things has been people having families, has kind of been one of the reasons people have stepped down. But there's people that were around the year I started, or within a few years after that, are also still playing. And also you can go away and come back. Like when I was ill, obviously I didn't play for a few years when I was sick, but I came back, and I was able to come back and say, this is all I can manage. Yeah, this is what I can manage. How can I find my way back in? And a couple of years on from that, I'm now club manager. And that you can kind of participate at any level that you want as well, and kind of have the relationship.
That's a really nice thing there. There's no enormous pressure.
Yeah.
To have to be there,
Yes, we're not going to fold if one person can't make it.
Exactly. Yeah, that was always, like in my mind when I was younger, I played on so many different leagues and teams, and there would be days that I'd be like riding my bike to go play in a volleyball match, and halfway there I'd be like, fuck, it's softball day, and then like turn around and have to go to softball. So I always had my mitt on my bike, like hanging on my handlebar. But yeah, it was like there was so much, to do in a summer, that it was insane. Like I don't ever remember like saying, I don't have anything to do, I'm bored. You had to say that because your mom would be like, I'll give you something to do. And like, no, I didn't mean clean. No.
The dishes to be washed in that restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a nice thing too, is that at the age where my mother did open the restaurant, like I didn't have, like I used to always want to be there because it was in a mall. Who wouldn't want to be there, But during the day, like, nope. I'm going to play. I'll go with you on the late shift or whatever, but not during the day. Like nothing interfered with it. It was just crazy, and it's so weird. Like I read this thing, I think it was like probably on Facebook or some social, that said one day you guys, all your friends went out to play and you didn't know it was the last time.
Aww.
It's so true. Like I can't go back to that exact time and try and remember it or figure it out, or but that's exactly how it happens. It's just really sad, but like you have all your memories and everything of it, and how fun it was, and
I feel like I get the impression a lot of, particularly the American members, come and try have that nostalgia aspect for that childhood experience, and find a place they can recapture some of that. But with alcohol,
you're doing.
Even better.
You guys are experiencing it for the first time, and we're stepping up like
yeah,
it's like the old days. Yeah, it's really sweet. I think it's just it's really on the cusp of getting bigger and bigger, just like all women's sports. Like just watching the Vegas, the basketball team, the girls Vegas team won, and it's like the Aces won the NBA Cup, and it's like I didn't even know Las Vegas had a team. Now I know. I don't know why I only think it's like Boston, New York, and LA. Like I don't really. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Vegas seems to like poach teams from other cities, doesn't it? And
yeah,
like buy
yeah,
them and bring them
totally.
in.
But
Yeah.
the funny thing too is that when we were watching the Matildas, it was like we had just finished watching like the World Cup and everything, and they were really praising, the women coaches. And then I think the sad part about the World Cup was how all the attention went to Spain for the wrong reasons, for that coach,
Yeah.
that player,
Yeah.
and causing a whole huge thing,
Yes.
whatever. And he's out, and now there's a woman coaching,
Yeah.
And we were saying, you would think that more men's teams would start trying to poach some women coaches because they're that good. They're
I
that.
think it's starting to happen, but
I do
yeah,
too.
there's still a
They started
stigma.
slow with like referees,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but
but yeah, there's
when you
such a
get there,
stigma around, some kind of
being
whatever.
mollycoddlers, they
Yeah,
think that
and just
women are going to come in
mentality.
and soften these guys up, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that it's going to be detrimental, and when
No,
all the
let them
evidence I
treat
think
their
is to the
boss.
contrary. Yeah,
But I do think there are such amazing women's coaches over here. Really, I mean, it's crazy. It just blows my mind when I see these. You know, I guess we were watching Save Our Squad too with David Beckham, and it's amazing to me that these young men are coaching these little kids, and they're coaching them like they're regular athletes. You know what I mean? They're not being overly,
yeah,
delicate delicate with them. They're dropping F-bombs and whatnot, but I just think I think that they have a misconception that women are going to be, huggy,
exactly,
huggy, and
exactly.
let's talk about your feelings. Are your
It's just
feelings? How
Right,
you
right.
feeling? Yeah,
yeah, and I think if I don't know if you any of those people came to like a co-ed game of softball, they would see that a lot of those gender roles just don't play out. The team
you
is the
really don't.
team, and any what member of the team could hit a home run, or make that throw, or
Right.
do
The thing is, too,
what
is
they need to do.
good coaches understand that every single player is an individual
Yeah,
personality.
yeah,
You know, like you can instill a winning mindset, a championship mindset as a whole, but each player is so individual that you can't. What works for this person isn't
yeah.
going for that person, and
Right,
and that's
right.
really, I think the key to it. So
That's it.
I love that you
And
guys embrace that.
well, I mean that we want to play to our strengths, and
Yeah,
some of our strengths is that we come with this authentic kind of queer camp spirit that we bring, and the fun, and we are appreciated amongst the other teams for that level of fun and fair play, and we can kind of spread our authenticity and joy through that, which is also fantastic.
yeah, definitely. It is the key to it. Like you always hear, it sounds like such bullshit when they go, just go out there and have fun. You're like, oh fuck you, man. Like I gotta run, I gotta throw, I gotta, I'm gonna slide, I'm gonna hurt myself. Yeah, have fun. But you really do
Yeah.
have fun, and that's the part that you can't lose sight
Well,
of.
that, and like, yeah, when you're rallying together, and you can't, very rarely you make a play on your own. You're relying on your teammates,
Of course,
like
yeah,
you're throwing a ball to them, or them throwing a ball to you, or that communication and working together. And yeah, you can't underestimate how positive that is when it pays off.
right. It's really, really, it's a long-standing tradition, that camaraderie and that that sounds so corny to say, but that team spirit is really, it's everything.
Yeah.
It really is. It's amazing. And I think, you guys putting that out there and having such a good response, it's incredible. I can't wait to slice up oranges and come and spectate.
Yes, definitely. And like some of our new players have said to me this year that like the weekly game has been their mental health activity for them. It's improved their well-being, and or they felt like low and a bit like, oh, do I really want to go? But they've come along and come away feeling much better at the end of it.
I feel that way about everything. You know me. Part of the battle is getting me out the door, and then once I'm out the door, I'm fine. But
but that's it's so great to know that we're improving people's lives just by doing something that we want to do and having fun. And
great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. See, Jay, you could come over here and not have that pressure.
Yeah, come and join Raiders.
You guys would be nice to me if I swung and missed or didn't make
exactly. Exactly. We played one game at a tournament a couple of weeks ago, and in the entire game, no one made it to first base.
Oh, see,
okay.
So
gotta think of the positives, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's only one game that happened.
Exactly.
Been playing for 17 years.
But it was no pressure. No one got angry. We all just every time the next person went up to bat, we were like, right, this is the time, and we just stayed positive.
So true. Oh, my friend, I am so happy to see you, and I'm so glad we got to talk about this.
Yes, thank you for that.
First sports show.
Oh, well, hopefully it opens the floodgates for many more, because there are lots of other LGBTQ sports teams in London and in the UK. There's netball, there's swimmers, there's runners, and it's great that we're creating these positive spaces, because I think a lot of people had negative experiences at school and were either made fun of or bullied or were the last person to be picked, that you talked about, Jay. And it's great that we're now making spaces where we define the spirit and the atmosphere and create what we want to see out of those activities.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, I'm probably going to see you soon, because I owe you a couple of tins and a gift from the cruise. So we have to have you over.
For sure. Sounds good.
All right, guys, that was super fun.
Awesome.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
I'm go get ready for real football.
Enjoy.
Hey, talk to you soon. Bye.
Why do you always run?
Like, never stop chasing your dreams.
We drank way too much whiskey.
See?
My addiction is you. Don't ask me why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You look at me and in my eyes you see the hurt I can't disguise. I watch you, and though it seems I look right through, I'm noticing your every move. She's got you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You're my addiction. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. I turn away to mask the pain, but jealousy reveals my rage and madness. a shameful kind of sadness. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You are my drug, my ever-waking need. I got you in my blood. You've got me on my knees. Why do you always run back to the love you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. Why do you run? Why do you run?